That's the point. Because in my walk out of the matrix, because that's what my journey was. It was walk out of the matrix, being and stand in a perpetual black divine reality. That was my whole walk. There was no coincidence or accidents. And that walk led me to here. That's everyone's walk is leading them there. If you're going to step out the matrix totally and be independent of them in your own world, this is the walk. These are the steps of how to stand in that. Then when we stand in that, we stand as that. So it's not just conjecture. It's not just a scheme. You fill out these paperwork and this, that, and the other, and you're good. No, it's not that. I'm not going to tell you that you're good because of some documentation. I'm showing you how good it is. I'm showing you how it can be good. And I ain't arguing with no judge or going down there filing no documents with nobody. But I'm showing you how it's going to be good. That's a fact. So we must stand in it to stand as it. But we can't do that if we can't stand it. Because the European and the white supremacist paradigm has been taking over our biology, our thoughts and our minds, and we don't have the self-realization to stop it. When that black self is born, self-realization means something that wasn't in your consciousness comes in your consciousness as a black supreme being and stops all the madness. Otherwise, it's just the white supremacist programming running in your mind. Just running. Old commercials and cartoons and old Christmas songs, and it's just all running in your mind. Stuff that you should worry about and be concerned about that just was given to you by the Matrix, that's all running. Fears and paranoias and all this garbage and attachment and all that, that's just running in your mind. But when that black supreme being awakens, the first thing it do is it hears the noise. You know what I'm saying? It hears the noise of all of the BS. And it's capable, by pulling itself up, to tell that noise to shut up. You're born twice. Once biologically. That biological being in this society is a robot. To propaganda, media, everything that it's going to go through the first years of its life. That biological being is a robot. Then there's a second birth of a conscious entity. They said change your name. We thought we supposed to change our name because we had the white man's names. The white man don't own any vibrations of sound, period. He has no monopoly on any vibration of sound. The reason we were changing our name is because what would the first thing a self-realized God or entity would do? It would first create from itself. So how can you be a God if you have not been self-created? No God has been created by somebody else or goddess. Do y'all follow what I'm saying? So you change your name so that you can invoke or manifest the entity of self that properly represents you. And it's one you know you own and have a patent on that. You follow what I'm saying? Otherwise, you are now responding to some vibrations that have been set into motion before you were born by some other entity. Whatever other consciousness that they was under. So it's not just because those are the slave master's name. That's your second birth. Of when you name yourself. Now there's a self there that is awakened. That is conscious and that is creating for the rest. Now, at that point, you're becoming a conscious ruler of your destiny. When you get to the naming part. So it's not just to give up the slave master's names. It's to realize yourself as the God being that you are. And create and direct the energies of this biological entity from that period on. That's a fact. Many people don't do that. They just got some name some spiritual group have gave them. Or some religious entity. Well, you didn't get it then. Until you become the ruler of your destiny and able to discipline and direct the energies of your existence to a definite purpose, you don't even exist. I don't care how Afrocentric your name is. You're not there. Because now you're a fool or just a bundle of biological programmed forces. with an African name. That's a fact. Whatever's dictated by the energies of this universe for you to do is what you're going to do. Without even thinking about it. And if somebody challenges the program, then you have an attitude. You have a problem with that. Because you thought the program was you. So it's not even something you could look at objectively. A creator can look at all options objectively. That's how you know you've reached a level of creative consciousness. How can you create if you're only looking at one thing, what you've been told? That means you're going to paint and you only got one color. Somebody come and tell you, you know you only got one color. No, that's all I need. I'm straight. You're not creating anything. You're just dealing with all that you have. A lot of people out here are just dealing with all that they have. They haven't realized that they have the ability to create and manifest what they desire to be and be a part of that. It's not just a mental process of making affirmations. Not enough. You do anything mentally within your own consciousness. But if you don't have the discipline to act out the plan, I don't care what you done thought of. I'm going to express it this way. They say that thoughts are things. But thinking happens on different levels. You have the mental thoughts, but every action is a thought. So that means there's not one physical action without a thought. So thought is not only just happening as a stream of consciousness within inside of the brain. Everything you do physically is the product of a thought. That's a fact. So that means it's not the thoughts in your consciousness that are things, that are realities, that are paradigms. It's your thought in every action. The thoughts in your brain represent only 20% of your action. Do y'all hear me? And that's the only thinking that you are aware of. This is heavy. But everything that you do is thought. That's a fact. So you can't just change this thing up here that's moving and change the television channel, right? You got to change thinking in action to manifest the reality that you want. Some people say, well, I'm going to think myself into stopping this negative action. And why they thinking they doing the negative action? I'm going to think myself not to do this. But you actually holding two thoughts. One of them is stronger. The thought of you doing it is manifested in action. The thought of you not doing it is in the 20% area. But if you think it in that 20% area consistently and for long enough time, if you're able to maintain that thought, eventually it will penetrate into your biology, where you will begin to subconsciously act out the thought without struggle and resistance. But you have to go constantly willing to go through the resistance of the mind to eventually get to that point of the transformation through action. That's a fact. But not to get off too deep into that, I want to stay on my subject, which is discipline and nation building, which is the point of all that. Nation building is to shape people's character into the refined beings that express the strength, the ability to maintain a community, culture, nation against all. No matter what we want to see, if we have not become the human beings, if we have not become the individuals in character to maintain those positions, what we want is a fantasy. It's a fantasy. So we challenge all the people that has an out there mentality about change as a people. Because everyone out there, we are them. We are not the conscious people. Every human being on the earth is consciousness. They conscience. You see what I'm saying? They have conscience. So it's not a them and us. We're their potential. We're them conscious. So look at ourselves now and say, I'm their potential. Now I'm their potential to be what? I'm their potential to be confused about what the hell I am doing. I'm their potential to be struggling over whether I should eat this hamburger or not. Y'all follow? So I'm their potential to see if they can be really devoted to black nationalism or not. That's what I'm their potential to be. But when I bring out the potential, I'm bringing out their potential to do such a thing simultaneously. Because when they see you and they see what you're doing, it automatically arises in them their own capability. That's the beauty of jealousy and envy. It allows others to recognize the abilities they have in themselves by looking at you. So they say, if y'all can do this without being struggling and being